two things that I think about when I think about PTS and why I'm still here is one is that we provide really a career and a job opportunity for people with a lot of experience, and we allow them to utilize their experience somewhat in a manner of how they see it and project it into their work process. And we have provided a lot of jobs throughout my 48-year career. And so I like the fact that we've employed people. They've stayed with us for many, many years. Probably nobody works in the office has not been in the company for less than 25 or 30 years. Well, I grew up in a family that was in the process industry. And when I say the process industry, that's a petroleum refinery, a petrochemical plant, a chemical plant, natural gas plant. My father, my uncles were in that industry. And so this is what we're talking about back before World War II. And so at the beginning of an industry, so I grew up hearing what it takes to build a plant, what it takes to operate a plant, and how do you integrate those activities and make it work. Now, I didn't know what I was hearing, but I heard it. And so as I went to college, I didn't go to college to study that. I got a business degree, a Bachelor of Business Administration, but I got a technical degree in transportation, which has turned out to be really the genesis of how I built Process Technical Services. But the fact of hearing that knowledge, then getting into the business world, and an opportunity came along to build a technical service company. And I didn't know that I was going to build a technical service company, but an opportunity came along and it became a business. Well, the greatest accomplishment is the fact that we have captured a knowledge and expertise base of individuals, and this has been going on since 1975, of some of the most talented people in the process industry that have continued beyond the normal retirement age to provide their expertise of how do you build a plant, a process plant, how do you engineer it, design it, turn it on, and make it work. We've captured a base of knowledge that not any other company has done to the extent that we have. The success of bringing a very difficult project online and seeing that our people are willing to go whatever the distance it takes to get it done and the number of hours. Our people in many cases would work 72, 84 hours a week to get a job done because it's such a difficult timeline and such a budget constraint. And seeing people that are doing it, not because you're forcing them into it, but they're leading the plan, they make the plan and the pathway, and they stay it and they accomplish it. So when it comes online, and they've done it, the benefits to them is they've educated their families. They've made good money. They've made a big life for their families. And so their accomplishments have been our accomplishments. What makes this different is that we have captured the true expertise in as the technology in our industry has changed. We had the people with the liquid natural gas requirement, the technology to commission and start up those plants. We had the people to do the sophisticated refining processes. So capturing that knowledge and having those people spend an entire second career with us after they've taken an early retirement from a major company, a DuPont, a Dow, an ExxonMobil, they spend another 20 or 30 years with us providing that expertise at a higher level. And our ability to get it out of those people is by letting them manage their time and their effort and bring it to the table in a way that makes a plant successful. We don't require people to do it only one way. It is make a pathway, make a plan, have it approved, and then do it. The biggest problem we find is, and the big companies have lots of employees. They bring them on, they train them, but they train them in probably a few processes or a few methodologies. And what we have is a data of people that have real experience. They don't just understand it from a book. They've actually done it with hands-on. And this is because we've been in the business since 1975. And so I was involved with the original company in the industry that started what I would call the process technical services industry. And so our people they've been all over the world. They've been in multiple plants. They've seen projects that have failed. They've seen projects that have succeeded. And so they're able to employ their knowledge to make your project work. Well, in describing probably projects that because of either the difficulty or the location or whatever, but we did a project in Borneo in the I would guess it was in the South China Sea. I'm not sure about that, but it's off of Indonesia. And it truly was a jungle. It was an island that was a jungle, and a world-class, probably in today's money, a 15 or $20 billion plant was built. And so how do you engineer a plant like that? Once you've engineered it, you have to do the design, and then you have to construct it. And how do you do all that and make it work? We had a cadre of people that were very integrated in the project. We weren't responsible for all of those activities, but we were responsible for integrating all of those activities and bringing a plant online. There was a lot of accolades for that project at the time. LNG, it was at the beginning of the LNG industry, the liquid natural gas industry. When you look at it from the perspective of a person that's my age, which is an elderly person, and has been in the industry from the infancy of the computer age, and now we're into an industry that most things are computer generated, as opposed to people did it with their own individual brain power, and they drew their own charts, they drew their own diagrams, and they built a plan, and those plans worked as well as the plans do today. Now, again, whose perspective that would be measured by would be their individual, but having seen it from in the 1960s and the 70s up until now, we actually commissioned and started up those plants as easy as we did these. And it was done differently, but the younger people are more computer literate, they're more computer oriented. So that's the biggest change I've seen. I'm not sure I've answered your question, but if you want to know how the industry's changed, it is how people did it before there was a computer, and now everything is basically driven off of a computer model. For me, that's not really a fair question. I don't know what the next few years is going to be for somebody that's 82, but I can say that having the expertise of individuals is still going to be required. You still need people that have gone out and have done it and managed it and executed it. And a computer can give you a plan and a pathway, but somebody's got to convey the message. Somebody has got to get the team put together, keep the team motivated, and when something is wrong, talk the team through it and make a pathway to go forward. That's an individual. My objective is to continue to offer jobs and opportunities for people that are jobs they want to do. And I don't have any objections for any job that anybody is doing, but if you have a job that you like and you give people an opportunity and they bring an expertise to it, and you give them more expertise and having a job where they like to go to work, where they like to do their work, and they feel they've made an accomplishment. That's my objective. That's why I'm still doing it. Our company culture is for us to understand the people, know that the people that we have in the workplace have the expertise. So you can't put somebody in there that just can talk about it. They've actually got to be able to do it and to lead others to get it done. And I don't mean by leading, going out and standing over people and watching them, but making the people that are working with them or for them understand what the job is, what their pathway is. You're responsible for it. And that is the culture that I have. I'm not a micromanager. I don't have people that are micromanagers. There is a standard, and the standards have to be measured. I mean, because what we do is very, very documented, both before you start and at the end. And so having people that understand that and are willing to work in that process and get there, but it's got to be a good workplace and a culture that people want to do it, or they get out of it. You can get in the middle of a project and lose your key people because they're highly employable. So it's got to be a good thing for them and a good thing for you. So if you're going to stand over them and micromanage them, the good people will walk away from you. I think the point we just talked about is not being a micromanager, is having people that have knowledge and expertise and then letting them employ it. Well, first of all, you have to have the desire to have gained the knowledge and expertise somewhere in your career somehow. We don't get people at the very front end of their career. We get people at the middle to the end of their career. So when they come here, the average person that works for us, when they start working for us, has approximately 35 years of experience. They're at least generally 55 years old. So a lot of people at that age are saying, I'm looking for a pathway to quit, a pathway to do something different. The people that really want to come here have seen us work, seen what we do, and want to be a part of it. Now, when we go on a project, not everybody that's on that project says, wow, I want to work there, because they don't necessarily want to work that hard. And that doesn't mean they're lazy. It just means it's an intense environment, and you like that environment, and you like the sense of accomplishment. So finding those people, so it's a matter of they see us, we see them, and then we offer someone probably a chance to step up in their career and manage more activities than they have in the past.
Excellent. Could you briefly describe PTS's mission, vision, and values?
Well, I would say we're fairly simplistic in regards to those activities. My vision when I started this company was I started working for the original company that was in the industry. And so once I got in there, I had a base of knowledge, not of the technical aspects of the commissioning startup industry, but I had heard those words. I had heard the processes from my family. So I was able to adapt to it. And so I formed the company to have a job that I wanted. So it was very simplistic. Here's a business opportunity. I'm entrepreneurial. I look for entrepreneurial people. I look for people that are self-directed. And so the vision is, I like the industry, so we're going to continue down the pathway of where we are. We are building some chemical plants for ourselves. That's a different model. That takes having other companies involved with us. But my real vision is to continue with having a technical service company, provide opportunity for people with expertise, and an opportunity for people to work for us and be able to take care of their family. So it's really no different from where we've been. I'm not plotting a vision for the next 15 or 20 years, but I do see that there is a need for people with expertise, because our people go out to the job site. We don't just sit behind a computer. That is one of the basic differences in a lot of the people in the industry now. They are more computer oriented. and they want to do it on the computer, but at some point, somebody's got to go into the field and take the measurements, and are we doing it right, and where are the problems, see the problems before they happen, and then fix them. So I see us having a niche, and we're a niche company. As things go forward, the computers will take over more, and should, and they provide the data, but there's always going to be a need for a person that has the expertise and is willing to employ it. You know, I've given some thought to that in the past, not for this conversation, but probably the fact that I'm very entrepreneurial. I've done a lot of things, even while I've had process technical services. I look at opportunities, and if you really have that bent in your personality and your toolbox, for your personal toolbox, you'll be talking with someone that's in a business or a related business, and you just see a business opportunity and you do it. You either have that kind of a personality or you don't, and you have to be somewhat of a person that is willing to take a risk or look at a risk. And you also need somebody to tap you on the shoulder and saying you're overstepping, and you have to have the ability to listen when people tell you that. Drive and ambition. You have to have an inner drive, and you have to have ambition. And again, there's nothing wrong with just wanting to do a particular job well. And let's just say that you were a cook or a baker and you really like that. Well, that's a job that, I mean, you might build a baking empire or you might build a restaurant empire, but more than likely you're not, but you have great satisfaction in your job. And so in what the kinds of things that we do, you have to have a strong desire to do it and see things done from front to back correctly. And I guess that's where my drive and ambition comes from. I don't have any desire to quit working. I'm not a hard worker. I'm pretty steady at it, but I don't have any desire to quit. I read books every day. I watch some sporting events every day. I play golf. So I'm not one-dimensional, but my work and getting up and going to work is what I do. And it was just probably from my family history, was just bred into me, but I don't take it as this is difficult, or it's not pleasant to get up and do. I live in a nice house and have a nice view, and I get up and go to work, and I'm happy when I get home. Yes, if I was going to tell someone, whether you're going to go, you're going to be a financial person, or you're going to be an accountant, or you're going to be a computer person, learn verbal communications, written communications, and just adding up numbers or drawing diagrams. The person that can communicate it both written and orally, and do it in a manner that is conducive to people to listen to it. You don't preach. What you do is you get consensus, and you do it because you can communicate. I think communication, if you're in the business world, if you can't communicate, you don't have your chances of succeeding are much less. I think PTS is a very successful company, and it's successful because we don't have a great written vision or a agenda, but we do have an understanding of what our business is, what the methodology of how we employ it. So understanding your business and staying true to it has worked for me. I don't know in things that are more intensive industries whether it would, but I do have a vision of exactly what PTS is to me and what it takes to work. And it is not micromanaging people and making sure that they're there at their desk on time and everybody does everything the same way. If you don't have common sense in working for us, you're going to have a difficult time. Common sense actually needs to be employed with everything you do.